Spotify is the largest music streaming service on the planet, and I'm going to walk you through how to use it. And whether you're brand new to Spotify or you just want to learn how to use the service better, there's something for everyone in this how-to guide. So let's dive in and talk about what you can play using Spotify. Now, today in Spotify, there are two primary types of audio that you can listen to: podcasts and music. And first, we're going to take a look at music. Unlike most other music streaming services, Spotify has an ad-supported free tier, which is helpful if you want to share music or a playlist with somebody who doesn't have Spotify, since signing up for an account is free. However, not all of Spotify's features will work with the Spotify free tier, so I'll make sure to note which features don't as we go through them. If you're a new user to Spotify, the platform will typically ask you to pick a few artists you like to help it start recommending music to you. Now, if you're a user of a different music streaming service and you're coming over to Spotify and you want to bring over your favorite artists, playlists, albums, etc., there are a few different ways to do this. You can use solutions from the web like SoundIs or Free Your Music, which will do this for you automatically. Though both of those solutions might require you to pay a monthly fee. Now, the other way to go about doing this is just to do it manually, and that's what I did when I switched over from YouTube Music. I just brought up the artists and songs I've liked over the past 2 years on that platform, and one by one went into Spotify and made sure I liked the same songs by clicking the little heart icon next to each track. And if you're curious about how Spotify compares to YouTube Music and Apple Music, we've actually done comparison videos on all of these services on the channel, so to see those videos and for more Spotify tips, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So once you've initially set up your Spotify account, the next step is to download the Spotify app on all the devices you want to listen on. Spotify has a ton of apps for all different types of devices. You can download Spotify on macOS, Linux, Windows, iPadOS, iOS, Android, watchOS, tvOS, Google TV, Fire TV, Roku, and you can use Spotify through a web browser as well, with support for the Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Opera, and Safari web browsers. Now, when you want to play a song, artist, or album in Spotify, the main way you'll go about doing that is by using search. For example, if I search for Taylor Swift on Spotify, you'll see that I get results for playlists, albums, and songs on the desktop and web player, but on Spotify's mobile app, it'll default to showing you the top results. You can filter these results further by tapping the buttons below the search bar to filter by a specific category like albums, playlists, songs, etc. Let's filter these results to look for a specific album, Folklore. I'll just tap Albums, then tap the Folklore album. We've now been taken to the albums page where you can see all of the tracks on the album. Select the green play button to start playing the entire album. And you can select that little heart icon next to the play button to signify that you like the album. Liking an album, song, or playlist will help train Spotify's algorithms to learn what music you like to listen to. Spotify also has a dislike button you may see when music is playing. You can select it when Spotify plays something you don't like to help teach its algorithms to play less music like that song. Also, if you skip a song, it'll take that into account with its recommendations. If you see a down arrow inside a circle icon next to the heart button, this means you can download the album as well. If you don't see this button, it's likely because you're not subscribed to Spotify Premium. Spotify's monthly music subscription plan, where you don't have ads and can download up to 10,000 songs on each of up to 5 different devices. Alright, next, let's take a look and see what happens when you play a song on Spotify. When you do this, you'll see Spotify's music player pop up, which is this simple bar that appears at the bottom of your Spotify app. On a mobile device, you can tap it to make it full screen. On iPadOS, you can see the full Now Playing screen by tapping the album artwork, but on the Spotify desktop and web player, it'll stay as a bar at the bottom. With the Spotify music player, you'll see a play pause button, skip forward and skip back button, a shuffle button, which if you're playing an album, for example, will shuffle the order of the songs on that album. Another button you'll see here is the repeat button. Hit it once to repeat the album or playlist you're listening to, so it'll be on a loop. Hit it again to just repeat the track you're currently listening to on a loop. Now, if you've decided to play just a single song in the Spotify app, like for example, I'll search for Tiny Dancer, play that song, and once that song finishes, Spotify will determine what to play next. And when it does this, the Now Playing screen will look a bit different. The shuffle and repeat buttons are now gone, and you'll just see the like and dislike buttons. Next, towards the bottom of the Now Playing screen on a mobile device or on the right side of the display for other versions of the Spotify app, you'll see the Spotify Connect icon. Now, what is Spotify Connect? Spotify Connect, you can think of it as a way to control and listen to music on different types of devices. So think other computers, phones, smart TVs, speakers, game consoles, cars, and other devices. You can basically use the Spotify app on any device, including the web player for the browser, as a remote to control the music playing on any device linked to your Spotify account or any device on your local Wi-Fi network. Here's an example of how it works. Let's say I want to play Industry Baby by Lil Nas X, but my computer speakers don't have enough bass and I really want to blast it on my TV's sound system, which has way more bass. Well, I can start playing Industry Baby on the Spotify web player, then I can click on the Spotify Connect icon, which will bring up a list of all of the available devices I can move this song to. I'll scroll down to TV and select it, and now the song will play on my TV. Now, unfortunately, you can't select multiple speakers to play music on simultaneously within Spotify Connect. However, you can move music to a pre-existing group of speakers, like for example, the Google Cast-enabled speakers I have in my bedroom. Same goes for a group of Amazon or Sonos speakers, and you'll see these grouped speakers in the Spotify Connect list. Now, if you want to play music on a group of AirPlay speakers like the HomePod and other AirPlay supported speakers like Sonos speakers, you'll first need to make sure you're using Spotify on an iOS or iPad OS device. Oddly, this doesn't work on the Mac Spotify app. Then scroll down all the way to the bottom where you'll see the option for AirPlay or Bluetooth. Tap that and it'll bring up the Apple, Bluetooth, and other AirPlay devices that you can play Spotify music on. And in this view, you can also select multiple speakers to play music on, which is pretty nice. For example, I can tap the first speaker I want to play it on, like my kitchen HomePod Mini. Then I can select my Sonos One, Onkyo receiver, and Josh's bedroom speaker to play it on multiple speakers around my home. Apple will even let you control the individual speaker volume in this view as well. Now, the last thing to know about Spotify Connect is how to pick up music from one device and move it to another. For example, let's say I've been playing music on speakers in my home but need to go out. Well, if I just pick up my phone and I've got my earbuds in, open Spotify on my phone, and you'll see it show the music currently playing on my speakers. I can hit the Spotify Connect button and can select this device to transfer playing music back to my device, or even better, the Bluetooth headphones connected to my phone. Now, aside from the Spotify app and Spotify Connect, there is one more way to listen to Spotify around your home, and that's through smart speakers by using voice commands, either through Amazon's Alexa Assistant, through devices like the Echo or Echo Dot, or through the Google Assistant with speakers like the Nest Audio, Nest Mini, and then there are third-party speakers like the Sonos One, which you can get the Amazon or Google Assistant onto as well to play music. Now, in order to play music through Alexa or the Google Assistant, you'll need to link your Spotify account to them, either through the Google Home or Google Assistant app for the Google Assistant, or Amazon's Alexa app for Amazon's Assistant. Here's how to do that. Open the Alexa app, navigate to Play, scroll down until you see Spotify and tap it, or if you don't see Spotify, tap Manage Services, and then if Spotify is listed, select it and follow the steps to connect your Spotify account to the Amazon Assistant. For the Google Assistant, open the Google Home app, select Settings, scroll down until you see Music, select it, and then select Spotify and tap Link, and follow the steps to link your Spotify account to the Google Assistant. Now, if you don't want to use a third-party assistant to control your music on Spotify, but you still like the idea of using voice commands, you're in luck because Spotify has their own voice command feature on the Spotify app for iOS and Android. To get this working, we'll open the Spotify app, navigate to Search, tap the microphone button, and tap Turn on Hey Spotify. Now, no matter where I am in the Spotify app, I can ask Spotify to play an artist like, "Hey Spotify, play Taylor Swift."
Taylor Swift.
Just remember, you'll need to keep the Spotify app open for this feature to work. And if you want to disable this feature, you can do this by clicking the gear icon to go into Settings, then select Voice Interactions, and then disable Spotify's microphone permissions. Alright, now let's go back to the Now Playing screen and let's go through a few more buttons. The next one you'll see on a mobile device is the Share button, which allows you to share whatever you're listening to with your friends and family. Now, if you're using the web player or a desktop or iPad app, you'll need to select the track's name and then click the three dots next to it, and then on the next screen that appears, select Share to share it. You can also select the three dots up at the top of a playlist or album to share the entire thing as well. The next button to talk about is the Play Queue button, which looks like this. When you click on it, you'll see all the songs Spotify plans to play next, whether you're listening to an album, playlist, or auto-generated radio station. Based on the song that you choose, the songs that are coming up next will appear here. To create a radio station from a single song on Spotify, you can do this by clicking the three dots next to a song and then select Go to Radio. Or if you're on the Spotify homepage or in search and you just start playing a song, Spotify will often just go into this radio mode after the song you choose finishes playing. Spotify's algorithms will choose other songs to play next based off of the first song that you choose and what it knows about the type of music that you like. The Play Queue shows you all of these upcoming songs and allows you to do a few things, like remove a song from the queue by clicking or tapping the three dots next to it on the desktop and tablet version of the Spotify app, and then selecting Remove from Queue, or on the mobile version of the Spotify app, you tap the circle to the left of the song and then tap Remove at the bottom. On mobile, it's also very easy to select multiple songs at once and then tap Remove. On the desktop app, you can multi-select by holding Command or Control and then selecting multiple songs. However, on the browser, I haven't gotten this to work. You can also easily reshuffle the order of your queue by clicking and dragging songs around on the desktop and web player versions of the Spotify app. On mobile and iPadOS, you can drag songs around by tapping and holding the little hamburger menu icon to the right of the track. Now, the overall Play Queue actually has two sections to it, and that might not be apparent if you've never added a song to your queue before. But when you tap the three dots next to a song anywhere on Spotify and select Add to Queue, the song or songs you selected will appear in the Next in Queue section. You'll then see the regular Next From section, which shows you the songs Spotify plans to play next and can be from a radio, mix, playlist, album, etc. So, for example, if you choose to play an album like Ed Sheeran's Equals, but decided you wanted to listen to Lady Gaga's new single, you'll see that her song will show up in the Next in Queue section, and then the Next From section will show you the remaining tracks from Ed Sheeran's album. Alright, so that's the Play Queue. Now the last feature to mention on Spotify's Now Playing screen is the new Lyrics feature, which you can access by tapping the lyrics at the bottom on mobile and iPadOS, and on desktop and the web player, you can get to this view by clicking on the microphone button. Spotify's new Lyrics feature now not only shows you the lyrics to many popular songs, but will also time them to the music as you listen, perfect for those who want to sing along. Now the last thing to take a look at in the Now Playing screen are the three dots at the top right corner that you'll see on the mobile and tablet versions of the Spotify app. Clicking the three dots brings down a new menu that includes options such as Like and Don't Play This Song, options like Add to Playlist, which will let you add this song to a custom playlist, Add to Queue, Shuffle, Repeat, Share, Go to Radio, View Album, View Artist, Song Credits, and Sleep Timer, which will stop the music at a set time if you'd like to listen to music as you go to sleep. Next, let's take a look at the home screen in Spotify. When you first open Spotify, it'll bring you here. The home screen will show you suggestions of things to listen to, new releases from artists you like, podcast episodes it thinks you'll like, recently played music, mixes to jump back into, and mixes and playlists made just for you by Spotify. Now, what are mixes and how are they different from playlists? Well, mixes are actually playlists, they're just personalized playlists, and that's an important distinction. These mixes start off with songs you like and are constantly updated with new songs Spotify thinks you'll love. So your mixes stay fresh and it always feels like there's something new to listen to. Spotify has a few different types of mixes that you can access. There are daily mixes, which group different artists you listen to together and updated every day, and then you have artist mixes, genre mixes, and decade mixes. Mixes will show up on the home screen, but you can also find them in search as well. For example, if you haven't figured already, I listen to a good amount of Taylor Swift, so there's a good bet Spotify has created a Taylor Swift mix for me already, so I can go into search and search for Taylor Swift mix, and boom, there it is. There are a few other personalized playlists Spotify makes for you that you can find in the home section of the Spotify app as well. Discover Weekly is a playlist updated every Monday with songs Spotify thinks you'll love. Release Radar includes new releases Spotify thinks you'll like. On Repeat is a playlist made up of songs you've played a lot recently and just can't get enough of, where Repeat Rewind are songs that you played a lot in the past. Spotify also has a ton of playlists that it creates for everyone, so they're not personalized, but are often great ways to get an introduction to an artist. For example, let's say you've just discovered the artist Sam Fender and you want to listen to more of his music. When you search Sam Fender, you'll see a playlist called This is Sam Fender that Spotify has put together, which includes some of his best hits. Now you'll notice that in this playlist, if you hit the play button, there's a little shuffle icon attached to it, which indicates that this playlist will play in a shuffled mode. If you want to play the playlist in its default order, just select the first track to start playing it. Spotify also allows you to create your own playlists. To do so, on the desktop or browser version of the Spotify app, just click on the Create Playlist button on the right side bar. On the mobile and iPadOS versions of the Spotify app, navigate to the Library tab and click on the plus button to name a new playlist. Once you name your playlist, it'll bring you into the playlist view where you can click the Add Songs button to add songs to your playlist, or click the little Add Song button next to the recommended songs Spotify recommended to you based off of the name of the playlist. On mobile, you can swipe through recommended song cards to see different categories of recommendations, which makes adding songs to your playlist a bit faster. To add a song to your playlist on the mobile and iPadOS version of the Spotify app, just search for a song and click the plus icon next to it. Once you have a few tracks in your playlist, you can easily reshuffle them on mobile by clicking the three dots on the playlist, select Edit, and then drag around the order. On the desktop and the browser, you can do this by just dragging around the tracks to reorder them. To get back to the playlist that you created, you just go to the Library tab. Now, if you found a playlist or mix within the Spotify app that you didn't make and you also want to save it to your library, you can do this by selecting the heart icon to like it, and that will automatically add it to your library. The Library tab in Spotify is a place where you can find all of the songs, artists, playlists, and albums that you've liked, recently listened to, or created, which just makes it easy to jump right back into your music. You can use the categories at the top to quickly sort your library, and you can sort the results by recently played, recently added, alphabetical, creator, and custom order. You can also click the grid icon to make the results into a grid, or click the button again to switch it back to a list view. The Library tab also includes a playlist of all the songs that you've liked on Spotify, which is titled Liked Songs. So let's say I want to find the latest Ed Sheeran album in my library that I listened to recently. I'd select albums at the top, make sure my list is sorted by recently played, and boom, there's his latest album, Equals. Next, let's talk about podcasts. You can find podcasts to listen to on Spotify either by searching for them or browsing episodes Spotify thinks you'd enjoy on the home screen. When you click into a podcast episode, you can easily add it to your podcast episode queue by clicking the little plus button. You can access the Your Episodes queue in your library by selecting the Podcasts and Shows filter. When you're playing a podcast, the Now Playing screen will look a bit different. You'll see the playhead, podcast artwork, a podcast speed button which lets you control the speed of playback, a 15-second skip forward and skip back button, a sleep timer which will stop playing the podcast after a set time that you select, and the share and queue buttons you're used to from the Music Now Playing screen. To follow a podcast so you see all new episodes, navigate to the podcast's page by clicking the three dots if you're currently listening to the podcast, select Go to Podcast Page, and then click the Follow button. Or you can search for the podcast, select it, and then click Follow. On podcast pages, you can also click the bell icon to enable notifications for that podcast, and the gear icon to mark certain podcasts as played. To rate a podcast, you can click the star rating button on the show's homepage or click the three dots and select Rate Show. Alright, so that's my comprehensive guide on how to use Spotify. If you have any remaining questions about Spotify, make sure you leave them in a comment below and we'll answer them there. Hit that thumbs up button if you found this video helpful, and if you want to see more how-to guides like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you're looking for what to watch next, check out some of our other how-to guides like how to use Google Photos, how to use Apple Music, and our comparison videos between Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.